Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to another Wyattsdot production episode of Thoughts Expressed. I'm your host, Mimi, and today I'm here with
Nanika Jerison.
Coffee. Laco.
You guys want to add your Instagram with that, or
Nanika Jerison on Instagram.
IG coffee_K1. IG Rob Laco.
okay? You can also find me on Instagram, Abani with 3 eyes _ X. Like I said, Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts Express. Today, we're talking about holiday Christians, faith in miracles or fear of fake prophecies. Before we get into that, at any point today, if you would like to join our conversation, all you have to do is call the number that is going to be portrayed at the bottom, or you can scan the QR code. Like I said, at any point of this conversation, if you would like to tune in, just call and we want to hear you. Also, if you ever like to be on the couch with us, all you have to do is send us a DM or any of our social media handles at Wyattsdot. Let's get to it. So, New Year, New Year. So usually at the end of the year, if you're like most people, you're in the club or you're going to New York to watch the ball drop. Or if you're Christian, where you at?
Church.
You are at church, okay? I mean, I was at church because I'm a Christian, but let me tell you, 31st night is getting hard because if you're not there on time, it's crowded. So let's talk about it. Why are Christians waiting to the last minute to come to church? Or are they scared of the prophecy that some alpha hour is telling them, or are they trying to get their last minute blessings, or what is it? Let's talk about it.
Agenda.
Agenda's the same. Agenda's the same.
It's like a homecoming. All the ladies are coming home, so all the guys have to also come home. That's how it is. Yeah. So some people, they just go because they see it to be a place that they can actually see their old friends and mingle and stuff like that. They're not actually coming there to pray. Trust me. Yeah.
That's very true.
What did you guys do on New Year's?
Sleep.
We would also like to hear from you. What were your New Year's plans? Did you have any resolution? Make sure you put that in the comment or call so we can talk about it. Yeah, what did you guys do on New Year's?
I was laying in my bed, playing music and all that. Yeah. I didn't walk out of my room.
Good for you. I was sleeping too.
Sleeping too? What are you doing?
sleeping.
You've been quiet.
I was in the club.
Oh, you're in the club.
Yeah.
Do you go to church throughout the year?
Yeah, I was in church. After church, then I
went to the club.
Okay.
Wow.
Wait, that same night?
Yeah.
Balance, I guess. So the question is, why does faith seem seasonal for some? And is the hype of New Year blessings more attractive than being than consistently worshiping?
Can you come again?
Why does faith seem seasonal for some, and is the hype of New Year blessing more attractive than consistent worship? Like, are people only going to church because they, New Year, they think New Year comes to new blessings and things like that. So they would rather do that than be consistent throughout the year. And is our faith supposed to be seasonal?
I think I heard a guy saying on the phone that he can't be going to church every weekend and just pay the pastors, give them money. So he's gonna wait and just go that one day and give them like $50, and he feels that, oh, okay, they didn't have much of me. But yeah, so people, they don't go because they feel like anytime they have to go, offering and tithe is just gonna take money out of their pocket. They don't feel like going. They just wanna like wait until that final one, and they just all show up.
So faith, you're saying their faith is seasonal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll also say that.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, you go first.
So I'm not saying their faith is seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that some people think if you go to church every day and if you stay at home too, you're still worshiping God.
Yeah.
So some people have faith in themselves that when they sit at home, they are just worshiping God through themselves. So they just don't want to go to church every day, and just as Kofi said, they pay tithe every day. It's like they're working for the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't want to do that.
And that's understandable. I just don't. And of course, this is a very judgment-free zone. Okay, if, as long as you're making it, we are in no place to judge you. We're just trying to, we're trying to dig deep in here. But I'm just saying, what is the point of going on 31st night if you just don't believe you need to be at church throughout the year?
I don't think
If you, or you know what I mean, like if you already don't go throughout the year because you feel like your relationship with God is just that strong that you don't need to be in the presence of other people to worship and praise Him, why are you going on the 31st night?
You can miss your class, but don't miss the finals.
Yes,
Why do you think that's the final? Nobody said that's the final.
That's
like, what are you
last
trying to?
day of
Do
the
you think
year.
the rapture is happening on the 31st?
actually pass the class, right?
Yes.
You have to take the
Take
final.
Okay, so who said the 31st is the final? Like, what is happening 31st? That's the final.
Talk
To
to
pass,
God. Talk to
pass.
God. Yes.
Be
To
going
get
a
your
new year.
blessings.
Cross
Be
Yeah,
going to a new year, and that's
Yeah.
the last day. So you got to go to church.
exactly.
Until the new year with good faith. That's it. And meet new friends. And just
And meet
old
new friends
Yeah,
and old friends.
Yeah.
Just reconnection. No.
That day is special. Pray.
I agree that day is special. I mean, I don't know. Well, you don't go to church, but a lot of
I go to church, please.
no. I'm sorry. I mean, you don't go to church on New Year's.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of churches actually, they make it what the kids say lit these days. So they don't go to the club, but
Also, Mimi, people don't just wait to go on the 31st because like they have like busy schedule. So then like only the 31st is the day that you can go to church.
from
Hey.
January to December,
This is
from January, February,
No, listen,
March.
if I'm a doctor, I'm saving lives, right? Do you expect me to be coming to church
So
whilst I
yes,
have
you work
someone-
throughout the
yes,
you work
because
throughout the
that's
year.
crazy.
No,
That
you
is
should
crazy.
because you wouldn't be in that position without God. Do you understand? So you have to give praise where praise is due. So you ignoring
That is
church.
why I'm
I mean,
going to church only on the 31st.
Mimi,
That makes
you know
no
one funny
sense.
thing? These same doctors who have time for vacation with
You
their
feel
wives
me?
and
like
kids.
you're not making time for God, but you're making time for everything
Yeah.
else in your
That one
life.
DM,
In a
huh?
way, you're worshiping everything else around you, but the person
I am
that
worshiping in the surgery room. I'm worshiping.
That's what I was about to say. You don't know. They pray before they go.
Exactly.
nobody's
So-
saying you don't do that, okay? But I'm saying like if you have time to, like you said, go on vacation, you have time to go to a different place.
Mhm.
If you had the money and why don't you go to vacation like in your city? Why are you going to a different country?
I want to relax.
Why worship in your room where you can be in the presence of other people worshiping together?
I want a different environment. So
So God doesn't
I
want
think
your
the
presence.
God is everywhere. God is everywhere. I can
His
worship God
presence.
anywhere.
Mhm.
The fact that you even like choosing your the fact
Oh, I think we're getting a call.
but hold on, can I finish my point?
Yeah.
The fact that you even choosing work over God throughout the year is, I don't think you're a Christian at that moment, because I feel like you have time to work 9 to 5 or
Hello?
whatever.
Hi, caller number 1. What is your name? Where are you speaking from? Sorry, Kofi, we'll get back to you.
That's fine.
Yes, hi. My name is Kwejo, speaking from Fairfield. So, I was watching the video. Good video overall.
Thank you.
You were asking the reason why we go to church on 31st night.
Yes, and ignore it the whole year.
Because 31st night, that's where most of the boys go find their wife, and that's
You're
where
right,
the bodies
you're right,
pull
you're
up.
right.
Why are you
so,
waiting to 31st to go find your wife? If your wife is in the
I
church,
mean-
then she's in the church
Oh.
every other Wednesday, or at least every other Sunday.
I told
doesn't
you it's
go to
homecoming.
church every
Yes,
day.
but 31st, when they all come, they all dress so different from like the regular day. Because like it's so crazy.
You know
how
what? I promise you,
every-
if you go to Easter convention, if you go to any other event that the church has throughout the year, you will probably find the same woman that you're looking for on 31st
Yes.
night. So why are
Yes.
you waiting to
Yes, I
31st
know that.
night?
Listen,
Also, your
it's
agenda for
different.
going to church shouldn't be
different
to go
because-
find girls. It should be to
No,
go praise
he
the
said
Lord.
wife.
His wife.
My
He
wife.
said wife, not
Find a wife, yeah.
yeah.
Because almost said that day, almost said that just year. But the other day, they tried to wear their long ass miniskirts. I'm like, oh, come on now. But regardless, it's all for the praise of God, and
Hallelujah.
it's pretty fun with the Jama. Oh, because like
I
we
do
all,
agree. Jama is pretty fun.
praising. Yeah, the Jama is pretty fun. That's what I like about it. So yeah,
So,
that's my little
the
contribution.
Jama is
Of
what?
The Jama
Mhm.
is praise and worship, but
Mhm.
we just a little bit more lit.
One baby, what they cover.
Well, thank
But
you
yeah.
so much, caller number 1. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else to
You were
add to
welcome.
it?
You were welcome. that'll be it. That's my little input I'm going to put into it.
Thank you so much. Call again, okay?
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Kofi, back to where you were.
Honestly, I don't remember, but I remember I was talking about you're not a good Christian if you have to choose your job throughout the year all over your church or like your worship. Then I don't think like you're doing the right thing, because you have PTOs and the other vacation, but you're trying to tell me that you don't have PTOs that you can go to church at least one time in a month just to worship God.
So,
like,
Kofi, I have a question for you. I'm a doctor, right? I have to save someone's life.
Hey, doctor, you save you. You have to also.
Except me save you, be right. Oh, me find so sorry.
Okay.
Right. Oh, bon pie. Me and bro say, oh, doctor, you hear what? Can you come to the hospital right now? Are you going to leave your work and still worship God, or you leave the church and go to work?
No,
Obviously, if it's a life and death situation.
Yeah, I know the.
Wait. I got a question from your question.
Hey,
no, ask.
I know the like. Yeah, I will leave. I will leave. Right. I'll go and save the life.
Okay.
But I'm like you don't. Do you leave at your like at the hospital? Do you leave there? Do you shower there?
No, doctors they work 2-4-7. Like trust.
There are some people that are on call. I know, but all can be replace you. If people 19 be able to.
Inti, you can say obi ni ho a obe replace or now yende.
Hey, you're there for a question.
Go ask your question.
So my question was that
it's
not only one doctor in the hospital.
So I get that, right? But I'm just saying you don't have anyone to replace you. Will you leave the church
throughout the year?
Okay, we have some comments that we need to read from Stephen. Okay. Sorry. He said 31st night is where the action is. Everyone is coming to church for the last hour. Tell me which time of the year has the same energy.
Yeah.
He also said we go for God, but the girls too be important agenda. And he said nice shirt, purple guy. Yeah. But what was your question? Your question was if somebody click on the comment. If somebody was dying, would you rather go to church than to go save their life?
Exactly.
Of course, you would rather go save their life. Yeah. God will want you to save their life.
So what if the whole year happens? What will you do?
Hey, whole year,
maybe you need to switch careers.
I'm a hospital, no dear.
Of course, like we keep emphasizing that. Of course, it's about your relationship with God. You don't need to be at church every Sunday. Nowhere in the Bible says you have to be at church, but it's very what is the word? Encouraged throughout the whole Bible that we need to be together as believers worshiping and praising God, and that's the whole purpose. It's not the building, it's the people. Okay. So we're not saying, of course, stay home because you have a relationship with God. That's fine. God wants you to have that relationship with him, but it's also the fact that he also wants us to be together worshiping him, and also using our talents to help other people in the church in a lot of ways.
Okay, Mimi, let me ask you this. Can I join Zoom, right? Why you laughing?
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
can I join? It's
still part of the church.
Yes, but
so then honestly, I don't have.
I'm gonna say yes and no. Yes, but you're not really taking the effort. Like if let's say Kofi, for example, he sings. What is God gave him a beautiful voice? What is the use of him being at home watching on Zoom instead of using his voice to help bring people to the church and bring people closer to God?
What if he can go? What is he gonna do? He can go.
Listen, you are saving life, right?
Yeah.
But are you saved?
I am saved because I'm joining the church through Zoom. Yep. Exactly.
Yep. So back to what Mimi said, right? If you have a beautiful voice, who is singing? Who is supposed to sing at the church for you?
There are people there to sing.
The same way there are people at the hospital there to help.
But I'm just saying that if you don't have anyone to replace you, you still have to go.
Which, what you're saying makes much sense, right? But what I'm saying is that, like, throughout the year, dear, like that one, dear, I can't take it.
You see the way
we have somebody in the chat room. We're gonna put him up real quick.
Yeah, we'll come back.
And then we have hello. Hi, what's your name? Where are you speaking from?
Hi, my name is Philip. I'm speaking from Cincinnati.
Hi.
Thanks everyone for the various contributions that you've been making.
No problem. Thank you for joining.
And I've been trying to follow. So now I have a few points to make, and I'll also extend the conversation between beyond C and E, right, which is Christmas and Easter. So now, first of all, we were talking about the gathering of the saints or coming physically to church.
Yes.
I think it's very important, and it's not just important just because you are Christian. It is important psychologically also because it's good for us to gather together, and it also helps with our mental health, right? Coming together, there are different times during the service that various things do happen, and it helps you. So now let me give you an example. Music is a form of therapy. So being there and enjoying, involving yourself in it is very therapeutic. So that's one. The other thing is there is also something about people gathering that you not get from Zoom. So now, if I was to be in the studio, the vibe and everything that is happening in the studio will feel. So I think being present as much as you can is important. Now, to extend it beyond that, and then maybe talking about the 31st night and the prophecies and all of that.
We're getting there.
I think, and I know there are a lot of pastors who will be listening and then, highly inclined Christians. So I don't want to sound too controversial, but I want to say with all caution that some of the pastors have played on the emotions of some people to where they are using the C and E as an avenue to entice, antagonize, and also use fear to get people to do something.
People.
And this is what I mean. It baffles me how come most, if not all, renowned prophecies happens on 31st night. Come on now.
Like, why only on that day?
Go on vacation. Right. I can't understand it. Where was God the whole time? Did he not prophesy through you until New Year Eve?
Or postpone it.
So it makes it difficult for me to understand that. The other thing also is that now, from 31st night to the 1st, what really changed?
Yeah. Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. So for me, the hype about 31st night, I still struggle to understand. It's just like the hype about Christmas or the hype about Easter. Right now, so many things are commercialized instead of the real intent and purpose. So if we're really doing it for the real intent and purpose, then fair and good. But right now, I strongly see the commercialization of these events and activities to where it is taking over the essence for which it has to be. So now, when we talk about 31st night, what comes to mind is night, prophecies, and as our previous caller said, looking for the wife.
Yeah,
right? So I think that we have to really know what the purpose is. So I asked a question, what is really different from 31st night and the 1st, apart from the church in date, which the date changes every day. So now we go on to do resolutions and all of that. But I will beg to say that if you do not change yourself, nothing else will change in a year.
Yep.
Therefore, let me further the argument that you do not need to wait till 31st night to change yourself. So, Kofi K, if you have anything to do it now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're gonna read some of the comments that's here. I think we left at Wyattsdot. He said, "Going to church doesn't make you a Christian, but living a Christ life, whatever you are, makes you a Christian. Spreading the word is what we are mandated to not to be in church as in the building,
and that is also saving lives. So."
Stephen Asar said, "You got to be alive in order to save others." Purple guy. Kojostan said, "Is the fellowship, the communion of the brethren that makes the church. Joining online is having an experience of the brethren's fellowship without partaking in it." Yao Boateng said, "I think you need to define who a Christian is." Stephen Asari said, going to church in a way helps one overcome loneliness. There's great joy in meeting folks, singing songs, and being generally involved, which I agree.
Yeah.
And then he also said, if you really pay attention to it, 31st December isn't any different from the 1st of January. They are all days just like they are in different years. Thank you. We're going to move on to the second segment of tonight, which is resolutions. New Year's resolutions. Are they resolutions or are they rituals? Do people make spiritual resolutions for the sake of tradition, or do they follow through, throughout the year? Do you guys make New Year's resolutions? Do you guys make New Year's resolutions? You don't make New Year's resolutions?
Nah, bro. I just go with the flow.
Oh.
All right.
Same here. I don't make one. I just go with it.
Exactly.
I used to.
So then what changed?
Well, yeah, what changed? And if you have anybody
You know the reason why I don't do it is because like if you write down, oh, I need to do this, right? And at the end of the day you don't do it, you get disappointed, you get like frustrated. Oh, why didn't I accomplish this? So then, like I said, I just go with the flow. I don't need to write anything down. I don't need to create anything.
So you don't write down your goals?
They are all in my head.
But like, okay.
I think. Listen, either ways you win, but depends on how you look at it.
Right.
So if you go to class and you write the final exams and you don't pass,
you in this final exams,
yes, and you write your final exams and you don't pass, that doesn't make you a failure.
Exactly.
You know why? Because partner class of the year 3 years, not that one thing that will fail you. Everything that went over, like went on, you have it in mind already. So it's like you learn a lot. It's not just the test and maybe decide to say like you're a loser or something. So I feel like sometimes when you write things down and you're able to achieve it because you were looking for that specific one and they didn't go the way you planned, you think you earned nothing. But looking at it in a different way, you can tell that you've achieved something. At least you have time for yourself. So yeah, I used to, and I don't anymore, but I still do. Yeah,
it's impossible
because it's like,
do you do it or not?
Yeah.
I quite 50-50. It's not making sound because it's like I write them down, but I don't really go hard on myself if I'm not able to achieve them like 100%. Because I know I will be able to do some, but not all. Yeah. I don't have control over it. All what I have to do is to do my part of it, and God is gonna take care of the rest. Yeah. So I believe in that too. Yeah.
And if you had any,
yeah, make sure they meet my uncle. But still, they knew some. Are they actually now? I'm sorry. Who are you?
If you had any New Year's resolution, we would love to hear about it. So drop it in the chat, or like you said, scan the code and join the chat room. We would love to hear from you.
So Mimi, I got something about the.
Oh wait, we have. I'm sorry. Hold that question. We have somebody in the chat room.
All right. So back to the resolution.
Well, I'm cool.
Hello again.
What happened?
No, you're good.
Obisi Wanko.
I don't see me already. If you can, you're ready, and then we also.
Yes, it was standby.
Okay. So to the resolution thing, right? I think it should not be limited to a year. Because that is when you try to cram too much into 1 year and it becomes very difficult. What is the bigger picture? You should ask yourself. If there's a bigger picture that you're working towards, then everything becomes part of the process.
Yeah.
Right? But then if there's no product, then it's difficult to have the process. So let's always have the bigger picture. Maybe this is where I want to find myself in 5 years. Then you can break it down. Right. And then as you break it down, it should not be limited to a year. These are what I need to do. Then you can also break it down to quarterly. And it's good to have that. There's nothing wrong with it because then you have targets. So once you have targets, you know what I'm working towards. If you just go with the flow, sweetie, then the flow will just go with you.
I need that on a shirt.
A be sweet to hop. Be sweet.
Well, what did you say?
So I see sweet. I'm saying that flow need to be sweet.
Okay. So the point I'm making is that if you just go with the flow, then you just, as the wind blows you, you go with the direction. With that, you will not really have any focus. You don't really have any
so
goal. You
confused.
don't have anything that you're working towards. So it becomes difficult to have any roadmap, right? So I would say that have a bigger picture and then break it down. The thing that people also do is, are their goals even realistic?
Yeah.
That is one problem. I am one that I don't see myself running unless I'm in danger or I'm playing sport. So why would I set a goal that I'll start running 1 mile even a week?
Exactly my point.
Masa, it won't happen.
Yeah, they definitely set
Right?
unrealistic goals.
Like,
Right. But for someone also doing 1 mile even a day is less, right? They could do 3, they could do 5 because they run. But then I saw somewhere in the Bible where it says that it's only the sinful one that runs without anybody chasing them. So since then I don't run. So since then I don't run. I'd rather go for a walk. They didn't say anything against that. So setting realistic goals is always important. What can you really do? And work within it. The other thing also is we should not beat ourselves to death when we are not able to meet our target. Because as Kofi K said, if you go to class for 3 years and you don't pass that one exam, it does not make you a failure, right? So it is part of the learning process. You have to then revise, evaluate what you did, why it didn't go as you planned, and then what can you do better to make sure that you achieve the next quarter's goal.
I agree.
So
I think
if my goal is to
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Baby.
Yeah, I was saying I think what people do, like you said, one, set unrealistic goals, and two, they don't take the time to reflect and sort of take breaks in between the year to go over what they wanted to achieve. So instead of, okay, let's check back in 4 months or 5 months, they just sit there and then wait till almost the end of the year. Then they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And then that's when you see everybody, like if they said they're going to go to the gym, that's when you see everybody right back in the gym during like October, November, because they're like, oh shoot, I didn't do I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So let me quote unquote, let me lock in. So yeah, we definitely agree with everything that you're saying. I do. I don't know about you.
So with the flow that we're talking about, that we just go with the flow, doesn't mean we don't have a plan.
Exactly.
We do have a plan.
You just have a plan in your head. You
yes.
see the point of writing it down.
We do have a plan. It's just that you don't want to write it down. You just want to say, okay, I need to do this. Mm-hmm. But okay, okay,
breaking
so we just go with the flow.
No,
we're gonna read some comments here. Nelly B said, "I plan on going to the gym."
Can I ask you a question?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, Blanco. If you just go with the flow, and if it doesn't happen, nothing's spoiled, right?
Yeah, nothing's spoiled.
So then, where is the accountability?
I would just.
So that's the internet. You kind of say, so there's no time to think about it.
So I'm trying to understand, and forgive me for probing further.
Okay.
Now, because I didn't mention that you don't have to be yourself to it and then be so sad about it and everything. So I think I get where you're coming from, but I also want to see clarification. If it's like, if it doesn't happen, well, life goes on. Then where is the sense of accountability? What are you doing to ensure that it really happens? Because you really wanted it. That is why you added it to your plan, right?
Yes.
So if it's like, then what? Is it not that important? Did you not value it?
No, it's important. So if it doesn't happen, we move. We try another time. That's what it is.
Okay, Blacko, we're gonna take Pastor Ahmed. I think he's also in the chat room.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I think it's a very, very solid discussion. I just wanted to chime in a little bit. So there's something of a planning that's very important. So I'm moving away from the traditional basically declarations on the new year, 31st night to the new year, right? To a more I would say more practical, approach. So if let's say if you're not really overburdened with a lot of things, you're not doing a lot of like 5, 6 things at the same time, like wearing different hats. Let's say you are a mother, you are the chief surgeon, you are the leader of the deacons, and you are also you're into different things, right? If you don't deliberately sit down to plan and write things down, there's a very high tendency to have everything jammed up, right? Mm-hmm. The Bible says that teach us to number our days so we would have a heart of wisdom. If you're able to number your days and plan your days ahead, it helps you. There were times I remember when you had no plan. Anyone comes and says, "Hey, Ahmed, I'm going to New York." Bam, you jump on the wagon because, well, I can shift things around, right? But having a plan, having a goal, not to say that, they should be so stringent, but it gives you a guide. This Japanese industrialist said this: without standards, there's no room for improvement. If you don't have a baseline with which to measure everything to, then anything goes. And sincerely, there's something that could take you 6 months to accomplish, but without having a solid plan, it could take you 2 years. Now it might not really make sense to accomplish it in 3 or 6 months, but as time goes by, you realize that time is really of essence. And if you really hone down on some things and work at it with a lot of strategy, it helps you. Of course, if you don't accomplish it, it's your book. No one is holding you accountable, right? I have a book, I have books I have to read within the year. I've started reading. There are things I need to do. I need to pray. I need to do this. All those are just things that I go back to ensure that I don't miss anything that is important to where I need to be. Those are my 2 cents I wanted to add on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Do you guys want to add something?
So I got a question.
Yeah.
A lot of questions today.
So if the New York comes and you don't get nothing.
What do you mean you don't get nothing?
Like let's say
you don't accomplish
anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, like at the end of the year, if you didn't accomplish anything,
you just let it go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say if you did get something, I'm coming. If you did get something and you did not write it down, you did not like put it anywhere, and it just happened.
Okay.
Are you gonna tell me that you're not gonna take that?
I mean, if it's a blessing from God, then it's a blessing from God. I think you're confusing like the fact that people actually write it down from like just people just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym this year, and then it just happened. But at the end of the day, you're making a mental note, so you are putting the effort. That's no different than writing it down and saying I'm going to go to the gym this year and you still have to put in the effort regardless. So but if like I didn't think I wanted a car this year and I got a car,
are you not going to take it?
What do you mean I'm not going to take it? It happened to me, so of course I'm blessed. I'm happy about it. But there's still other goals that you probably do want to set for yourself that you're not going to expect are going to come to you. Your plans are not God's plans. What you want is not what God is going to give to you.
Yeah.
You understand?
So exactly. So I just make it, I just go with the flow.
All the time. No plans. Just
go with the flow.
Let's read some comments here. Stephen Azar said resolutions are really overrated rituals and a waste of time in most cases.
Exactly.
Most people's resolutions barely make it to March.
Yes. You see what I'm saying?
It depends what is on your list, I beg.
No.
Also, it depends on the person and your discipline level. If you're not disciplined and you just want to go to the gym, like if you're not mentally disciplined, physically it's not going to happen because you're not disciplined enough to actually get yourself out of bed and go to the gym. Max Webler said a close relationship with God so he can I don't think that was for us. Kojo Stan said, for New Year's resolution, I only believe in the ones that are attainable and should be frequent, not once a year. People normally looking for moments to restart, set goals, and or build on, and it happens the last day of the year. Makes sense to keep as the good moment to restart. Some people just want to restart. They just want a button to push. Like, I just want to forget about everything that's happened. God has blessed me enough to see the new year. Let's start afresh. Let's see what we got this year. So we can't all take it in a negative way.
Yeah, right.
Stephen Nasari said We said realistic goals.
It's realistic though.
I think we need to emphasize more on how to set progressive personal goals, how to lay the foundation for more sustainable, positive habits rather than just hype and resolutions. Going with the flow is a plan. So he agrees with you.
Yeah, going with the flow.
He also said we're skipping the accountability. That's why we go with the flow. Good sir. So he is saying the people that go with the flow, y'all like it.
You get what you want.
I don't think they go with the flow.
You're skipping accountability.
Like they have it in their mind.
That's what I'm saying. They just don't agree
Write
that you
it
have
down.
to write it down.
Yeah.
So
But we
technically
still
you're
go
not
with the
going
flow.
Yes.
Technically you're not because you're still
No.
sitting
When I'm saying
in
going
your
with the flow, it's still in my mind, but I'm not thinking about it too much. You get what I'm saying?
I think they all have different meaning of going with the flow. You explain after you.
So when I say go with the flow, it's like, okay, at the end of it, like it's there, but it's like I'm not thinking.
Okay,
about
give
it.
an example of a goal that you're okay.
So let's say I want to go to the gym.
Okay.
That's let's say I want to go to the gym.
Okay.
So I don't go to the gym like often, but let's say maybe when I go 1 time, 2 times, let's say I don't go maybe 3 days in a week. Maybe I go maybe 1 day in a week, and I say okay, go with the flow. So say me call gym they me call it's not like say me empty or like get a skinny
you try
body.
not to stretch yourself, not to put too much on yourself.
So you just go with the flow.
So you still have it down. Just say you try not to put in much energy to the point and say like it's gonna weigh you down.
Basically.
Nah.
Okay, we're gonna read the next comment. Nella B said, I don't think it's overrated. I think it's important because it helps some people to also push themselves for a fresh and new start to certain things. While I agree, I think you should be pushing yourself throughout the year though.
I think it all comes to who you are.
Yeah.
And what works for you. Because Obi Ohara and trying to he's never gonna do it. Some people they need in their mind.
We're gonna go through the rest of the comments and then go to the next segment. So
you didn't let me finish though. About the church wasn't it going to church or staying home and so if I don't go to church and I pay my tithe and offering through online, I don't want it.
I mean, why would they not take it?
So I'll sit at home.
Because first of all, the church doesn't know if you're in person or you're at home. If the thing is Cash App, they don't know if you're in person giving that money or you're at home giving the money.
Mimi.
So of course
they know. They know.
How are they? Listen. When I go to church, I pay on Cash App.
So, but they know you're in church.
How do they know I'm in church? Nobody's
when you pay Cash App, your name appears on there.
Who's literally checking every single person's
we have someone checking.
They have somebody out there. They have They have. Let me tell you something. They have.
Nobody's sitting there. Okay, Miriam was at church today. She paid $10. Oh wait, she wasn't at church.
They have the presiding elder. They have the presiding elder checking all that.
But
nobody
listen.
is like keeping tabs on when you come to church and when you don't.
Mimi, we saw a question, but I think that Montage said you are saving life, but are you saved?
Oop.
Yes.
I'm saved. Yeah, I'm paying tithe.
He wanted that to eat so bad.
If I'm joining church through Zoom.
If I don't go to church, doesn't mean I'm not saved. I'm saved, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get through the rest of these questions. And then
if I'm not saved, I can't bomb you.
We're gonna get to prophecies. Kojostan said the resolution is the decision to achieve a goal. A plan is how one will achieve the goal. A man without a goal, plan, and commitment is just a dry leaf floating in the air, waiting to be landed somewhere, anywhere. Max Weber says some of y'all are thinking too deep about it. Everyone makes and sets goals, but some prefer to do it at the end or start off the year. Most people go for resolutions just because it's the new year, nothing more, nothing less. And he also said they go with the hype of resolutions being most haves at the start of the year, not because they want any fresh start. Rejecting. We're gonna go to our next topic, which might be our last one. Fake prophecies. A cultural fear.
I like that.
How fake prophecies manipulate believers. If you guys have any examples, I don't think I do on fake prophecies. I know in my country, Ghana, I've heard a couple. But
how do you know it's a fake prophecy though?
Because it doesn't happen. Because it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen means that it's not a prophecy.
Okay, sure.
No, but the adjective is fake. She didn't say it's not a prophecy. So Blacko, I think you're missing the two.
So no, so
it is a prophecy. So how is it fake?
Philip on the chat room.
Right. No,
Dr.
she
Phil.
asked the question of fake, and then you're saying that the fact that it doesn't happen does not mean it's not.
No,
prophecy.
she said
And I'm
that.
just trying to clarify. No, you mentioned, right, that the fact that it does not happen does not mean it's not prophecy.
Yeah.
A prophecy.
And I'm saying that the qualifier is what kind of prophecy. Yes, it's a prophecy, but what kind of prophecy is what Mimi is saying.
So she said fake. How do you know it's fake? That's my point.
But their fruits you shall know them. So
and
now,
see
in terms of
Dr. Phil, you know something? The air kind of say, like in general, when people say fake, something is fake because who say see, and so that's why they classify it that it's fake. But say in see, yeah, doesn't mean say like okay, them say fake, and you fake because in see ni the man can say fake. Nyame yi achire no amba. That's the point. Nyame na yi chire no but amba nipa ni so. Nti you fake.
Nyame yi chire now.
Yeah.
You know.
Nyame yi chire nipa no say na mean now. It means me can say fake.
Fake.
Yes.
I get your point.
Because it doesn't happen there now. I can say
fake.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that is the point I was trying to drive to. Right?
Okay.
Sometimes we are quick to say something is fake and not say, but I think it would be fair to say that it misfired. Right? And that's what 3.5. I think
that would be more perfect though. Yeah.
Upon alpha.
Yeah. Upon alpha. You ever say your class? No, yeah, apple, but you do one. Like the people are so almost say A question 1, A B. But you who you nay A. Almost a sa question. And one into a B. Into I'm foul by you like a licky.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's not fake.
But Blacko sometimes no. Obi Timika say what tema like who say psychology.
That one is there.
Yes. It's say ebia you go to church with somebody and when as soon as you get there you see this old man trying to have a conversation with you.
Okay.
But what's your name? What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And the next minute, what to another person about? There's a guy here called this name. Yeah, you might say like at that moment, bro. Like I click on my dream say, Papa don't need me the information, bro.
So Papa say, Papa no do command any information na come.
But they'll come out.
Inti yan fan say, enya Papa na ne command na ana maybe aye no cry unjindi.
Minjindi.
Then you got
hold on.
Then you have a problem. You have a problem.
You know
bro.
something? Because
Yes.
I believe say Nyankopon or kwan first no be akasa. Or first I kwan so onyame. Or kwan first no me kasa.
Okay.
What I say? Yeah, because like I think too much when it comes to these things. No, Charlie, Obia sofu bompire na ye kwane ko pempire. I say umihwe na car ball. I'm like, hey, sofu nyanto bo ase pen am be bona car ball me say.
Maybe that's what. Maybe when maybe anya kana bow, but maybe on like spiritual realm. Yes, that's what it is.
It's kadia unhu no enko kaka na.
No. See,
but 10 years na me twa kwa mu da.
See, oka se car ball and just a car bow.
Then it's kadia be
Prophets now, when they see something, it's not say when who say kana bow. And you kana bow, maybe you bet me poli, not like and a bit man say kana bow.
So for na.
No, it's just nyame no make.
Do you have spiritual eyes?
No, God is talking to
Oh,
me right now.
okay.
Charlie, like sometimes in the way they say it's not the like me try say psycho in fact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to me the
Does anybody in the chat room have anything to add to that?
Oh yeah, and I feel that.
Yes.
Pastor
So
Ahmed,
wait.
Pastor Ahmed
The
wants
question
to-
is that do you believe in prophecy though?
Pastor Ahmed is
Do you believe in
also I'll let the
prophecy?
pastor.
No,
Do you?
It's solid. I think they're all very
Okay,
solid points. Right?
Mhm.
I remember the first time I got a prophecy. Someone was telling me something, and in fact, I highly doubted. Right? The person was telling me I would travel. They gave me specifics.
Mhm.
Okay.
That I'll travel. I was back in Ghana. I was just out of college. I'll go to church. I just went for going sick. Right? That was back in the day. That was a long time ago. But it was after it actually happened. Because I had no relations in the US. I'm just giving a background, right? And it actually happened. What I'm guessing at is that sometimes it's very difficult to tell who is really hearing from God or what they may have seen. So don't just write it off. Number two, your focus must be on God and not the person delivering the message.
Thank you.
Number three, usually, for example, like the accident piece, there are times you can get a dream, a vision, or you can get something concerning someone which may look bad. So just tell them to forewarn them so they can pray. Bear in mind, it's not to incite fear to take money from you. It's to encourage you, pray for you, and have you also be on guard so you can pray. That is also a piece of it, right? But there are times when people would use messages that God has given through them as an avenue to rip people off. It's also there. It's a fear factor to cause people to be afraid sometimes. But doesn't mean that what the person is saying is off or maybe wrong. And there are times when timelines may be slightly off, and there are times when God may change his mind concerning situations, like the prophet Joel. There are times when God can send someone to give you a message, and then based on your heart and how you receive it, God can change his mind concerning it. So don't be too quickly to write things off. God may be speaking even through a child to you if only you pay attention. And there are times when your dreams will line up with what someone is telling you, just to confirm, what God is probably doing in your life as well. That's a little bit I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you.
As a medium.
It's very simple.
So
I think I wanted to say something.
Yeah, with prophecies and stuff like that, I think Pastor Ahmed really know that. Now, religion has also become the opium of the masses. And because of that, we are made to believe that anything from a spiritual leader should not be questioned. Not that it cannot be questioned, but not be questioned. For which reason, if your spiritual leader is to say something, or a spiritual leader is to say something, then it's like it becomes the gospel. I think earlier we were talking about misfired prophecies, or for want of better expressions, fake prophecies. Now, as the question was asked, so because I was not there, I will not be quick to say that it's a fake prophecy.
yes.
And I hear quite often that not people saying in Ghana, trust me, it has no geographical limitation.
Worldwide.
So the point I'm making is that it's not limited to Ghana. So now we have to also question certain things. I'm not saying don't believe. That is not what I'm saying. But sometimes the vessel may even be wrong, but the content may be right. So yes, it's coming from me, Philip. Philip, but the content that is coming is also very true, right? So sometimes also, let's not judge the message by the messenger. Let's take the message for what it's worth.
Yeah.
If somebody is to give you a prophecy, the only thing I say is pray about it and then do what you got to do. It's that plain and simple. Because in as much as we have God, we have the devil. God works through man, the devil also works through man.
Yeah.
So if somebody is able to say that I have this prophecy about you, and especially most prophecies that we tend to hear and see are the negative ones. If you do not do anything about it, my guy, they will pass somewhere, make my prophecy come through, so that they'll use you to score points. So however the prophecy comes, just take it and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
That is just my 2 cents.
But
Thank you.
sometimes I feel like these pastors, they just follow trends. Hey, it do say about prophecy, no, like ebeba. It do say ebeba prophecy, no, ebeba. It do say what you see on my name for money blue and become famous. Prophecy beba data be now binya. So sometimes I feel like they do that just to have
you have to
attention.
say? He got something to say.
I feel like
feel
some of them they need attention because the areas now if you have the number of Instagram followers and the number of followers you have on the social media and a share or asset. So most of these pastors they want to follow trend to get the attention and have people to follow them. You know because MPP besa we need MPP way. It's no a prophecy in the media or betch them.
So
wait. Yeah.
You said some prophecies are just for trends. So you said if somebody get like fame and that's when their prophecy come. Don't you know that maybe that's when their time, that's when God is giving them like maybe the pastor the prophecy. You being a layman doesn't mean that you don't have prophecies. They do have prophecies about you, but it's not showing, so they can't tell you. So maybe you have money right now. That's when like maybe Nyame the prophecy now say Abba. Doesn't mean say it's fake because I understand what you are saying. Say if you become popular or rich, that's when people come, misquoting everything like, oh, in the obewu, in the car ball, you do this. And yes, psycho. Nyame that time na nyame the prophet and say, okay, this is his time. Tell him or tell her that okay, this time is not because you have money or you have anything. It's just that your time is up. Yes.
Guys, I would love for y'all to conversate. I know this topic is juicy.
You move how you saw the kakra, right? Enti Nyankopon nim ye no onim kwa befa so obe approach here. Enti as a message now there but I know say Nyankopon on fasa kwan we so famba.
I mean,
what do you mean say Nyankopon fasa kwan we so famba?
Okay, listen, at the end of the day all we have to do is pray for the spirit of discernment, okay? Because you're never going to know. Take like Pastor Philip said, take it as it is and then pray about it.
Yeah.
You feel me? So no,
because I do got a problem when people saying it's fake prophecy.
I think
you don't know when God is giving the prophecy.
Exactly, just take it as it is.
No,
we're gonna read some comments.
God, wait, I'm coming.
No, we're gonna read some.
We gotta let the viewers know something too.
Okay, so what you mean to
so if God says that we have prophecy right now and a pastor tells you that, oh, this is the prophecy. And God comes again and tell the pastor, say, oh, this prophecy that you told this person, it's not his time. Pastor, no bam ben can't say prophecy na me catch on a fake.
Na first one about second number.
Oh no. Say, okay, pastor and say, I come to you, I tell you, say, okay, you're gonna get money in 2025. And God says, oh nah, shit, that's not his time. It came first time.
The second time I seen no. But catch him say no. Because I met you ready now.
No. See, on bank catchers like on bank catchers say prophecy no, and Barcelona say fake. That's what I want you to understand. So God gave it to him that he's gonna get money 2025, and God went back to the person and said, "Oh, okay, I'm holding on because of maybe one reason and the other. He's not gonna get money." Because maybe or yes stubborn or yes by this time already didn't quite I mean person this kind of man. Okay. That's when God holds on and tells the pastor, maybe a different pastor, tells the different pastor, say, okay, if you see this guy, tell him that like maybe the prophecy I told him once a while back, no, it's not gonna come to me.
Yes, and I'm saying no coca. So you me aduma, you my first, my second as I call.
So when she out be as well.
Guys, at the end of the day. Even the Bible said they're going to be. Even the Bible said there are going to be fake prophets out there. We're not saying everybody, all the prophets are fake.
Going to be fake prophets. They didn't say fake prophecy.
But if they're fake prophets, then they can be fake prophecies. Because if you're a fake prophet, you're not getting the spirit to say a prophecy.
No.
Okay, we're gonna read some comments, and then unfortunately,
fake prophets means
we're going to end today. I know the topic is juicy.
What do you mean?
If you put orange seed here, there's no way you get mango. You get orange.
It's not orange seed, man.
What's this? It's no more.
No, like if
Stan said a lot of guys, a lot of prophecies are false, especially the ones that tingles the ear. But also, a prophecy not happening does not make it false. Sometimes we want to see the manifestation right away, but some takes years. And then the person receiving the prophecy also has a responsibility to do their part. Mostly, they don't. Stephen Asari says, so God only concerned about the rich and famous. God only
What
speaks
you say?
about the negative and death and utter failures. Max said everything can be fake, but we still believe in some of them anyway. And he also said, don't believe everything at the same time. Take everything with a grain of salt. And the last comment I'm going to read is, God is God. He knows what he's doing right from the beginning.
Thank you.
He will do what he has already planned on doing. He wants our compliance, true, but that doesn't restrict his power. Thank you so much to everybody that joined today. If you guys have any last comments, if it's about to talk about
yeah, to hold back, I just send people wearing one. So MPP are in here, you know, after election or patch.
Thank you so much for everybody. Happy New Year. And of course, make sure you stay tuned for our next live. We have juicy conversations like this all the time. And from now on, you will be able to call in and join in the chat room. Don't forget to give us a follow on all our social media platforms on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Wyattsdot. Thank you so much and hope to see you again. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.
But my mind is fortified. In my room all alone, I like to stay in my zone. And that's how I build my bones. Shall let that be my own? Life written like a poem. My wish I be moving on. No physical, my heart is home. My heart is so. Express your thoughts. I go express my own. If you express your own, I go express my thoughts. Express your thoughts. I go express my own. Make you express your own. I go express my